This, I said, was one of my favorite topics to present also. So today you get a double whammy. You get deep listening, and then we're going to look at what happens when people accidentally stumble into all those roadblocks and barriers that we talked about last week, and they start trying to control the other person rather than control themselves. Well, what happens is they get into games with each other. They play relationship games. And I'm going to describe for you, it's on the back side. Oh, I didn't give you a handout, did I? And that's probably going to be hard for you to follow this without that. My mistake. See, instead of waiting for Rick, I should have been doing my own job. All right. This is called the drama triangle. And I'm now going to explain to you, maybe 20 different games that I know you know how to play, and I can do it really fast. And the reason I can do it so fast is you knew how to play all of these games by the time you were like 5 years old. And the reason you knew how to play them all by the time you were 5 years old is you were just a good observer and you watched the big people and you saw people playing these games. And sadly, they got played a lot and you got good at them. You probably have your favorites. The family you grew up in probably had its favorites. Your mom probably had her favorites. Your dad probably had his favorites. So you had lots of opportunities to learn these games. Now, what happens when you get into one of these games, if you turn your green sheet over, oh, no, go to the yellow sheet. The green sheet on the back side should look just like this. It's just a drama triangle. But let's look at the notes about what happens when people play these games, okay? And why it leads to dysfunctional relationships. So I'm on the side that says drama triangle. Nope, flip it to the notes. On the side that says drama triangle notes, okay? So, relationship dysfunction. What happens in games is the processes are really unhealthy that the people are using. You're trying to control the other person, number 2, instead of controlling yourself. You're focusing on the other person as the problem or the solution. So this gets back to roadblocks and barriers. When you do that, you're judging and blaming the other person. And sometimes, have you ever done another one called whining? You can judge, you can blame, or you can just whine about, okay. It involves one-up, one-down roles instead of equality and mutuality. Remember we said the 3 words describing healthy relationship were equality, mutuality, and respect. Well, this is going to be all one-up, one-down. Somebody is pretending that they have the right to be in control of somebody else, or they try to. You need the other person to be a certain way so you can be okay. You pretend something outside of you will make you happy. Now, I at one time in my life worked a lot with addictions, and the simplest way I can describe addiction is that it's the belief that something outside of you will make you happy. And there's a million different kinds of addictions, but they all have that at their heart, rather than realizing that happiness is your job. Well, when you're playing a drama triangle game, you need the other person to be a certain way so that you can feel okay. In the end, everybody becomes a victim, and nobody gets what they really want. The games can go on indefinitely. You pretend the other person's behavior determines yours. Now, I want you to just plant that seed in your brain so that you notice the next time you do that. Pretend that the other person causes your behavior. It's a way of being together without being together because it avoids intimacy, and the reason it avoids intimacy is nobody's being open, honest, and direct about what's really going on with them. All right. Number 10, it's a superficial involvement, lacks open, honest, direct disclosure. 11, you learn your favorite starting position in your family of origin where you most easily get hooked. So what you saw your mom and dad do, especially when things weren't working very well between mom and dad, is stuff that you would know how to do really well. Games lead to mental, emotional, relational, and even physical exhaustion and pain. You can internally do a drama triangle game, so remind me of that one. I'll teach you how to do it. You don't even need another person to play with. You can do one all by yourself. And you may be perceived as a persecutor if you stop the game, because people who want to play the game will escalate when you try to stop the game. Okay, so now, That's just to give you the flavor of what happens when we play them. Let's go to look at what the games are and how they get played. So we have 3 roles, and now I'm back on your green sheet with the triangle. The first role is a rescuer. And you'll see that each role on your green sheet has a set of characteristics and also a set of games that get played from that role. Okay? So let's see if we can get a sense of what a rescuer is like. Now, from roadblocks and barriers, rescuer are going to be big into sending solutions. And you'll remember that whole section from the previous class. The rescuer provides help that keeps a person dependent. So you can, in addictions, you would call this the enabler. Sometimes you would call it the codependent. But what's going on if you have a tendency to be a rescuer is you have a need to be needed. In other words, you kind of figure out if the person didn't need you, they might not want to be around you, so you try to find relationships where the other person needs you for something. Okay, so what are the characteristics then? I have the answer for your life. I'm okay, you're not okay. Good thing you found me because I can help you. Okay? It's one up, it's condescending, it seeks people to help to be okay. You take responsibility for other people's lives that they should be taking for their own lives. And the truth is, rescuers fear other people would abandon them if they didn't need them. So, sometimes that leads to a you owe me something. Have you ever done a lot of stuff for another person and then, sort of thinking, well, this would be a quid pro quo. In other words, I'm doing all this stuff for them, so they certainly would appreciate that and would want to do that much back for me. And then they didn't. And then what? After all I've done for you, right? So you get into a drama triangle game because you set it up by rescuing in the first place. So what are rescuer games? If you jump down the sheet there, one of them is, well, why don't you? Now, do you hear how I'm sending a solution there? Why don't you? Let me help you. Let me do it for you. Now, those of you that have gotten really good at doing certain things, you know that you can do them faster than the other person and better probably, and it'd take less time than trying to teach them how to do it. So do you sometimes just jump in and do it for them? We sometimes do this with kids. You really ought to. More advice. It'd be good for you if. And then we do reassuring, another roadblock. It's going to be all right. It's not that bad. Things will get better. You'll see. So do you see the advising, the reassuring from the sending solution? This is back to if you give a person a fish, they eat for a day. If you teach them how to fish, they eat for a lifetime. Rescuers are into handing out fish. They just want to give everybody a fish because it makes them feel good to be giving.